Welcome to Yellow!
Hello, my name is Patricia and I am Innovation Advisor at Yellow, umbrella company for many different projects, all blockchain related. We do market making for different projects who launch their tokens. We do seed investment and VC for also other blockchain projects. And here in Chiang Mai, we have a blockchain incubator co-working space. We opened in June 2020, so in the middle of the pandemic. So it's been quite a challenge of a time. Things seem to be getting better now post-pandemic, and we're very excited to see Thailand finally opening. Really, the space we built here was a passion project. We feel very fortunate for what crypto and blockchain has brought into our lives. So we really wanted to build a space to give back to the community, and this was the main intention of building this space where the industry people could meet and find like-minded people and collaborate. Freedom, equality are really some of the values that guide us in this project. We chose Chiang Mai because we feel Chiang Mai has the potential of becoming a great startup hub. We have all the infrastructure and the services for startups to start their adventures, and the cost of living is very affordable if we compare to other places. Common feedback that I receive that people when they come here, they are productive. Yeah, I think this calm, slow life helps to be productive and also helps to be creative, you know? So yeah, that would be a bit about me and about Yellow.
So when I originally interviewed Patty, we were really just focusing on Yellow and the co-working space and really just getting all the information surrounding the co-working space itself. But then Yellow had this event called F'd Up Fridays, and it was basically an event where people went up on stage and shared their F up in life, business, whatever it is. And Patty shared this incredible story that I'm about to play, and it was so beautiful. It gave me chills. I just felt so inspired by her story that I knew I had to sit her down and have her share it with you guys for this video. So that's what this next portion is going to be. I hope you truly feel as inspired as I did when I heard her incredible story.
First of all, thank you, Tiffany, for inviting me to this space and to share my story. I have not shared it publicly so much. The other night was my first time speaking about this story with a crowd. Well, my name is Patty. I am from a small country in the Pyrenees Mountains called Andorra. And I spent a lot of time in the mountains and in nature, mainly practicing sports. I started around the age of 14, snowboarding, and sports and nature have been an important part of my life. I think it helped me as well with healing things in me, and I was a bit adventurous and a bit of adrenaline seeker of strong experiences, and nature and sport provided this for me. The story I spoke about the other day from my snowboarding life. So I was on and off competing, and around the age of 27, 28, I was more experienced, so I started competing in a discipline called freeride, which is very wild because they are big mountains. You feel very free in these big mountains, going down, flying down basically. Especially for training in freeride, I would spend a lot of time doing backcountry, reaching places where there's no cars and no people, and just snow and mountain, and it's just such a peaceful and beautiful experience. Doing all kinds of mountain sports, climbing and going down the rivers and canyoning, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. And it was what I shared with my son, and it's also what I shared with my ex-partner who was a mountain guide. So I was competing in freeride, and for a couple of years I was doing really well, and the competitions I participated in, I used to always qualify and do podiums. It was a very exciting time. I had like some sponsors, I was also DJing. Of course, I was racing my son, who at the time was 12. We were both competing together. We even competed in the national champion for border cross, which was a very nice experience. We both got our medals. It was fun. And really, I was taking my son to be like professional sports person, really like into sports and healthy life and nature and mountain. I got to qualify for a competition which was quite high level. Lots of sponsors for this kind of competitions, and it was February 2013. And the day of the competition there was very bad weather. When I woke up and I saw the weather conditions, I immediately felt I did not want to go. I know the mountain and how dangerous it can be. Something inside of me was telling me really not to go. But of course it was a very high level competition. My ex-partner was a like star of the ski scene. So he wanted to be there, and it got to a point that he saw me saying, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. He said to me, if you don't get ready now and we go, I'm going to leave for good and never coming back. It left me in shock because he had never spoken to me like this either. But neither had he seen me agitated in a moment like that, no? Of course, I loved him and I didn't want him to go, so I just got ready. And I went to the mountain. Despite the conditions, I really knew the conditions were really not good. Even the organizers of the competition were postponing the start of the race, of the competition, trying to see if the weather conditions improved or did not. The weather conditions were absolutely terrible. There were like very strong winds, 60, 80 kilometers in breezes. But finally they decided to go ahead with it, and we were given instruction to go up the mountain. And even when I was going up the mountain, I was thinking, whoa, it's going to be wild. And I was the first runner of 80. When I got up to the top of the mountain, I remember it's very windy. So I have these two tall guys, part of the organization, who started to tell me, you have 30 seconds to get yourself ready and go down. So this, I had walked 600 meters height difference, quite a steep mountain, so it's around an hour and 10 minutes walk up. So I was just getting back my breath. So you need some kind of time of preparation, and not two guys shouting at you saying, go, you have 30 seconds, and if not, we will disqualify you. And they were like, come on, 3, 2, and I'm even tying my backpack. In your backpack you have the avalanche rescue, the shovel and a probe, and you have an ARVA normally. My ARVA battery was a bit low. I decided to leave it off during the hike up.
Oh my God.
And I did not even have time to turn it on. So, because it was just like so chaotic, and with the wind and the weather and everything, it was, and I remember I was trying to tie my backpack, standing up because I had tied my boots already, starting to go because they were saying 3, 2, 1, you know, and I was like, oh. So yeah, I thought, okay, well, just do the best you can. I standed up, tried to tie my bag, and I just started to descend. Well, I finished tying my bag a bit slower. You have trained so much for this, and this moment, just try to do your best. And my best was not very good because as soon as I started, I like inclined to get a bit of speed. I speeded a little bit, and there was really white light, so I missed a rock, which I hit. I tried to miss it, but I impacted with the base of my foot, and I basically broke all my pelvis. I hit with the base, and I fell on top of the rock like this, and I fractured like 5 vertebrae, and my pelvis really bad, and my leg. I had 9 fractures in total. And I was in a very narrow canal in a very steep mountain. They didn't have the rescue equipment ready at the top of the mountain. They called a helicopter because, remember, it takes so long to walk up. And the weather was so bad that the organization had not prepared rescue equipment at the top. My rescue took like a very long time, I would say over an hour. I was lying on the floor with the wind. Very difficult rescue where the firemen really risked their lives to get me out of there. They told me that they had even thought they had to leave me there because it was so complicated. After that, it was a very long recovery experience. I damaged my spine and my nervous system, so I had tremors and I had a lot of pain. And I had very severe post-traumatic stress disorder, like panic attacks and nightmares and flashbacks, and it had a strong impact in my mind. I went through many surgeries, like 7 different very complex surgeries. Very lucky I had a very good team of doctors and nurses and in general physios. Doctors did not know what to do with me, so finally I had one doctor who I discussed the possibility of drinking ayahuasca, and ayahuasca really helped me in the process of healing. I was very lucky because I had the opportunity to drink with many different indigenous leaders and spiritual leaders who do very serious work with the plant. And another part, I would say, of my healing process was painting. Doing art, doing things that focus really helped me, as well as reciting mantras. So I learned the Medicine Buddha mantra, which I recited for many hours. And when I recited it, it always brought me down and brought me peace and brought me positive feelings and positive thoughts after the practice. CD by Deva Premal and the Tibetan monk, which are mantras for turbulent times. And the other was, I used to do lots of calligraphy, study Tibetan, and started to paint. So I said, okay, I'm going to try and paint. So I was watching lots of YouTube and following many artists. And I knew there was some painting teachers that did seminars around the world. As I followed them on social media, and I was bedridden for a year. It was a long process to get to walk again. I was coming from sports and training, and I overdid it. Back to the painting. So there was this group of visionary artists. I was bedridden there, thinking, wow, I would love to go. They do 1-month seminars around the world. That's my dream experience. I contacted them and I asked them if they would teach me online or through Skype or Zoom. And so for my first painting, I had maybe 7-10 sessions with her, 1 hour through Skype. It was my high of the week was waiting. It was a big part of my healing. And my first painting I finished 5 days before Ernst Fuchs died, Austrian master. I was very proud to have achieved very nice painting, reflecting a lot on how to do it, and just trying really hard to make it nice. It was very nice because I had the opportunity to travel to Vienna eventually when I was a lot better. They did a homage exhibition for Ernst Fuchs in a beautiful castle in Austria, and I was invited to put my first painting there, so it was a huge honor. It felt really like a blessing. So from agonizing in bed and doing all this work of trying to paint, when I was doing the Tibetan tankat and writing Tibetan, I always thought as well about if it was okay for someone who is not initiated in Buddhism to do this kind of practices with. And I was very fortunate because one day I had the visit of a Tibetan monk. He is the founder of Casa del Tibet. He is a disciple of the Dalai Lama who was given the mission to spread Tibetan culture. He came to my house and actually gave me his blessing. Going to Austria felt like a blessing and felt like a gift for doing the right thing at the time and doing this internal work. So I think the biggest thing I learned was to listen to one's intuition. I really had the intuition that I should not go that day. I let myself be pushed by someone else's will. It's not that I regret, because I think from this experience I have learned so much. It has made me who I am today. I am more compassionate and more understanding. I understand suffering because I have gone through it, and trying to overcome suffering, not fall into a victim. I had a lot of anger, so I had to work through many strong emotions, and anger was a very predominant one. but always trying to keep in the light.
Well, I'm really thankful for you and for Yellow. It sounds so silly to be so thankful for Yellow, like some of it, like
It's like a co-working.
I was so depressed. I need to
Connect.
have a reason to like wake up and get dressed every day. Silly enough, just even going to Yellow has just helped me get in the motion every day, waking up, getting dressed.
Human
and,
connection
like,
is
feeling
essential.
Good. Yeah.
Most important, as I say, one of the important things I took from the ayahuasca group I was attending, and one of the really important parts of the healing was they became my spiritual family.
Yeah.
So they became my support system. So, and the sisterhood as well. I did a lot of work with women's circles and with sisters. And I was coming from a competition world,
Yeah.
you know, and competing amongst women is very unhealthy most of the time. But in the modern world, we are taught to be highly competitive, and I see it at work with some women. They still have this because they feel in order to succeed, they need to compete.
Yeah.
And it's a very distorted, and it's society, I think, what conditions us,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, when women are sustaining each other and empowering each
Yeah.
other, it brings so much healing, no? And it brings this,
It's so
yes.
true. I love that.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening to my story. Thank you, Tiffany, so much for giving me this space to share it with you. And there's so many people I would like to thank, and I am so grateful to have in my life. Yes, so many of you that I will have in my heart, and I'm so grateful. And a super special thank you to Jan, to my son, who is the most amazing young man, and I'm so grateful to have, and he has been my biggest supporter throughout this journey. I love you, Jan. Thank you.